Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles, bishops, Akim and Akwath, throughout the four corners of the earth, holding on to the testimony of the Lord Amashak Yahushai in sincerity and truth in these dark days and times. Yeah, this Brother Menashe, DC Camp, short lesson for the hopeful elect. I hope you find this lesson edifying. You just got to have hope. Trust the Lord that He's going to get you through these difficult times, man, because our people are just so overwhelmed with the pressure of Edom's society. Our people, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans, they're totally overwhelmed by the so-called white man's power structure. They're just burning out, man. They're getting burnt out. So that's the reason why we need mercy from the Lord. And our captivity is almost over, and this lesson is just to show you how merciful the Lord is, as by speeding up the reunification of our people, the reunification of the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel. So the southern kingdom of Judah and the northern kingdom of Israel are about to, about to get tight, man. Because the Lord did a perfect job, man. And just to get straight to the point, Isaiah chapter 22, when you read verse 17 and 18, this is what the Lord said. Behold, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Ashah Ba'ashem Kakadash will carry thee away with a mighty captivity, and will surely cover thee. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. Alright, that large country here is America. Okay, there thou shalt die, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of the Lord's house. So our power structure back then, man, failed because we didn't hold on to the mercies of the Lord. We became a ridicule. We became a pariah, to the nations of the world. All right. So the Lord is going to, reveal His hand, because it's a good thing, man, that the Lord allowed His judgments to come true. Imagine how long it would have taken, for our people to get back together. All that sailing back and forth from Africa or from Europe to the Americas, that would have been a exhausting, I say, very tiring journey. But the Lord allowed that captivity to happen, man. The Lord had to, force the southern kingdom, into captivity under Esau, and so we could get in proximity, get very close with the northern kingdom, the Latin tribes. So that's a good thing, about the captivity the Lord put our people through. He had to force our people together, push them into the utmost parts of the earth. Yeah, so I need to get another precept, I'll get this real quick. It's going to be from the book of Jeremiah, chapter. Give me 1 second, let me get it the right way. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 30. All right, where did the oppression of our people, both the northern and southern kingdom, happen together? the same time, it's here in the Americas. All right. 50 and 33. All right. So it says this, thus said the Lord Yahweh. That's about what? Lord of hosts, okay? The children of Israel, all right? That's the northern kingdom comprising of the so-called Latinos and Native Americans. And the children of Judah, that's the so-called Negroes, were oppressed together. And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. And that's exactly, what we're experiencing in this time, all right, in this age of Israel's rulership, all right. The Latin tribes, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans and the so-called Negroes are being ruled over by Edom, all right, here in the Americas. This is where the concentration of our people is, man, heavy. More interaction in this hemisphere between the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, all right. So just imagine when we're preaching the gospel and you see the brothers from the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom doing the work together. That's fulfillment of prophecy. That's exactly, why the Lord also had the captivity take place. So the prophets could be raised up in captivity and do the work together. The prophets from the northern kingdom and the prophets from the southern kingdom gonna join hands, set up camp, do the work, and that's a positive thing, man. And the Lord, sped up so much stuff, man. The invention of technology that shows you how the Lord has sped things up. The inventions that the Lord put out there for our people to bring out to the forefront, as well as these Edomites, at the healing of the other nations, shows you how, beautiful the Lord is, man. Though the Lord, chastised us, He still allowed certain technologies to be put out there to help with the pushing of this ministry, promoting, this gospel. So it's a great thing, man. The internet itself, the satellites, the printing of books and all that stuff, carpentry, you know, designing of fabrics and all that stuff. It's a blessing, man, to see what the Lord has done, as per the furtherance of this gospel. So I read Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33 again. It said, thus said the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. All right. That's why Amalek is so thirsty, to hold on to our people, whether it's the northern kingdom or the southern kingdom, whether it's so-called Negroes or the so-called Latinos, he always want to rule over our people. He's so desperate, and hey, the Lord uses our people as bait to trap him. So there's no way he can go. He can escape. He's tied to his riches, and it's only a matter of time that his judgments, comes to pass. And when you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, and you go to verse 48, it tells you, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord, Yahweh, Bashim Ashai, Bashim Kakadash, shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Yeah, so who did this happen to? That's our people, man. Esau's been ruling over our people with rigor for centuries, man. And it's only a matter of time that the Lord, rains His mercy upon us heavily, man, and deliver us out of the hands of our enemies. So it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful that the Lord paved a way. You know, He gave us the Holy Spirit to receive this gospel. You know, just like you were upset about how Esau was using the scriptures to oppress our people, the Lord had to wake our people up to embrace the scriptures and, you know, use it for what it's meant to be used for, to upliftment of our nation, you know, to show us the way to go. And that's a good thing that we have to, cherish. All right. So that's one thing about this captivity, man. It really sped up, you know, it really helped with the bringing together of our nation, man, you know. So the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 28. It says this, and it shall come to pass that in the place, actually that's 26, all right. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living power. And this is prophecy. You know, it's what we're looking forward to. You know, this is just another precept from Hosea chapter 1, verse 10. So this is a good thing, man, that the place is that far country we got tossed like a ball into to serve slavery, to serve our enemies, you know, to receive the rebuke of the Lord, the chastening of the Lord. So it's a beautiful thing, man. It says, you, right, when it says, you are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living power. So a lot of our people are waking up, man. The Latin, you know, the so-called Latin tribes are waking up. You know, Judah is waking up. So when Judah falls in line, you know, everything else follow. You know, the Latin tribe, you know, follow. You know, let me get that precept real quick. It's a beautiful thing, man. Let me pull it up real quick. So that's from the book of, let's see, book of Zechariah. Book of Zechariah, chapter 12. All right. Verse 7. It says this, Zechariah 12 and 7. The Lord shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. So the Lord is going to raise up our, you know, the southern kingdom first. That's why, you know, the heads that were preaching the gospel way back in the late 60s into the early 70s and now are from the southern kingdom according to the prophecy of the Lord. All right. So go back to Romans chapter 9. That's just the way the Lord set it up. The Lord is a master of order. All right. So He has to raise up the southern kingdom first, the so-called Negroes, to preach the gospel, and then the northern kingdom, so-called Latinos, will join in. And that's exactly what we have been observing in this ministry. So verse 27 says, Isaiah also cried concerning Israel, though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. All right. and that's the elect. That's exactly what we are hoping for, salvation, For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness. So it's beautiful, man, that the Lord made this separation of our nation short, all right? For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth, all right? And that's exactly what we're praying for, okay? And then verse 29 says, and as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth had left us a seed, we had been as Sodom, and been made like unto Gomorrah. So the Lord had an opportunity for us to get this knowledge, to accept it, and build upon it, and declare it to those that will accept it. And it's a beautiful thing, man. The effort and the sweat, the equity that the apostles and the elders have put into this, it just shows you how merciful the Lord is to set up a foundation that we can be a part of. All right. So that takes me to the book of Ezekiel. This is exactly why these things take place. This is why the Lord had to use that captivity of our nation to bring us together. When you read the prophecy, the valley of the dry bones, which is America, and then you go to verse 15 and 17, it says this: the word of the Lord, Yahweh, came unto me, saying, moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah, right, as the so-called Negroes, and for the children of Israel, the so-called Latinos, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel's companions. All right. So the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, they're gonna be having an interaction because of this prophecy. All right. And verse 17 says, and join them one to another in one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. And this is the 12 tribe sign. When you go into the word stick, it shows you that's a plank. So when you see that 12 tribe sign, when you see Judah, Benjamin, Levi, you see Ephraim all the way down to Issachar, and then you see the so-called popular names, so-called worldly names, then you understand the Lord set it up that way. It's all prophecy. So it's in this hemisphere that happened. That stuff didn't happen all the way in Europe. It didn't happen over there in Africa. It didn't happen over there in Asia. It's here, in North America that happened, when the Lord revealed who the tribes were to High Priest Ariel from one west, and the apostles, to Har, all the way down to Apostle Makar, and the elders too. It just shows you that the Lord knew exactly what he was doing, when he allowed our people to go into captivity. He used that captivity to force the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom together so that the work can be done, So when the northern kingdom sees the prophets of the northern kingdom doing the work with the prophets of the southern kingdom, that's a wrap, You have that common bond of being Israelites, and then the word gets out there. That's how the gospel spreads. That's how the ministry gets bigger, you know. So that's the whole point, you know. And then book of Baruch. I'm gonna get it from a different. I'm gonna use a different app for that. I'm gonna read it real quick. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. All right, Baruch 2 and 30. It says this: For I knew they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of Ezekiel chapter 37. People remembering who they are when the Spirit of the Lord, the word of the Lord goes out there, and then it activates that Kwam Yasharala gene, that Kwam Yasharala spirit that's been asleep, you know, and all of a sudden you're like, man, I've been asleep for all these years. You know, I gotta dust off the cobweb, and it's time to get back to work. You know, spread the word. It's time our salvation, you know, be considered seriously. Okay, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And then one thing you also have to remember: for our salvation to be considered seriously, we also have to take into account the demise of our enemies. All right, our salvation cannot happen without the destruction of our oppressors. Okay, you know, the Lord has to rid them out of their positions of authority. So the book of Zephaniah chapter 1 verses 14 and 15 says this. This is the reason why this situation has to happen. Okay, even the word trouble is highlighted. Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7. That's a good thing. So it says in Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 14, the great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasted greatly. My word, he is about to make it quick and to the point, precise. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. The day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Yeah, so when you read further down, it just tells you about how much chaos the Lord is bringing upon the earth. Why? Because he has to bring about the salvation of our people. He has to make his name known throughout the four corners of the earth. He has to reveal his power. He has to reveal the truth, all right, of who the Israelites are, all right. And that's the reason, you know, this message is going out there, so our people can be awakened and be delivered when the enemy is being casted down. Okay, so when you read the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 20, you know, just gotta pray the Lord allow this lesson to record properly. You know, that'll be a huge blessing. You know, because time. Yeah, time. You gotta make everything quick to the point. All right, Mark chapter 13, verse 20. And except that the Lord had shortened those days, no flesh shall be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he had chosen, he had shortened the days. So that's a good thing. You know, the Lord used our captivity we experience and that we are experiencing to set up for the ministry, you know, and to also allow our people to wake up. And when our people wake up, that means the power of the enemy is dwindling, and the enemy has to hurry up and see what he can do to disrupt the plan of the Lord, but he cannot disrupt the plan of the Lord because it's the Lord's plan. You know, the Lord controls all sides, so that's a good thing. All right, so there's nothing that can overthrow what the Lord has set in motion, and that's what we're so happy about. Okay, so when you're going through a hard time, always remember, man, the Lord set up our captivity for a positive result. All right, which is the preaching of the gospel, the reunification of the tribes. All right, of the 12 tribes of Israel, and hey, every moment that Amalek wants to use to cause disturbance, it's always in our favor. You know, just like the scripture says, there's nothing that can be done against the truth but for the truth. So that's upon the Akim apparatus. You've been edified, and hey, just keep your head up, man. This captivity, you know, is just the will of the Lord to force the tribes together and get the work done. Shalom.